Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew, with special guests, the Hoppy Mommy, Lucky, and Nash.
Hey, welcome to Football Thursday night on Hops News. I'm just going to warn you right now, this is going to be a crazy-ass episode. I told myself early in the week I probably need to let these guys know that I'm going to bow out of this episode because App State is playing on Thursday night. Yesterday, I told myself in the morning I need to text Mash and find out if he's willing to produce this show. And I woke up this morning and that text never got sent. So here I am. We're going to make the best of it. We're going to have a hell of an episode. You're probably going to hear me raising hell when I'm not on camera. I'll try to slide the slider down so you don't hear me so much. But I will be distracted by the game fairly often. Thankfully, App's up by 7 right now, so it won't be too bad. Thank you for joining us. Do us a big favor, share us, like us, tag a friend, retweet us, subscribe to us on YouTube, however it is that you're watching us.
Anywhere.
Yeah, just do it. Isn't that like that was a slogan at one
Do
time.
it. Do it.
Just
Yeah.
do it.
It's
Yeah, it was
Ben
kind of a
Stiller,
popular one.
Nike does it, and then what was that? Starsky and Hutch. Do it.
And then you can do it. Hey, that's a Florida beer.
Yeah, I'm
Hidden
drinking
Springs.
a great one from Hidden Springs, Florida brewery. This is tasty. I meant to grab a glass before I got started, but as usual, we're running up into issues right before we press go live. So
Skype is the worst.
Yeah, it definitely is. But we'll make it work. We'll get through this episode where I'm going to watch a little bit of football, and you guys will probably hear me raising a little bit of hell. That is where I wish I was at, Kid Brewer Stadium, back there.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like this evening up here too. So, wish we were there. There's a few people there, but I'm not that high of a roller yet, so I don't reach that status yet. But let's go check in with. Speaking of baller, let's go check in with Lucky. That's the guy that would be in the stadium. I guarantee you. Lucky, how are things going up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin this evening?
It is officially winter. I know everybody else is getting started with summer, but not here in Milwaukee.
Lucky, slide your slider up a little bit so you're a little bit louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is that too much?
Nope.
Okay. So not in Milwaukee, but at my hometown, New Berlin, and up where my little brother plays in Eau Claire. That's where he goes to school. They got about 6 inches of snow yesterday.
Whoa.
Absolutely crazy. They had like a winter storm warning, and
Hell yeah.
yeah. So it's officially stout season. I am sipping on a fistful of cake from Monday Night Brewing. I forget.
Ooh,
nice.
they're
I
in
think
Georgia.
this is Brad. I think this is Brad or Corey. One of the two. I know both of them are down there, but yeah, just hanging in there, man. How are things going by you?
Nice. Yeah, I've seen some pictures from snow out west and up north. We haven't gotten any here yet. It's been in the 30s a couple of times, but we haven't seen anything flying. But I know the ski resorts around here are looking forward to it. Stout season, man, that's kind of music to my ears. Lagers and stouts, that transition right there is pretty quick for me. I'm still sipping on some lighter beers here, but stout season is definitely upon us.
It's just because you're tailgating. You, I think we had this talk earlier, but stouts aren't really like tailgating beers, are they?
Oh God, no.
Sure they are.
No.
You kidding?
Down in
You drink
Florida,
one
though.
stout and you're like, I can't drink any more beers the rest of
Yeah,
the day, and then
right.
you're full of like sausages and stouts, and you can't enjoy the actual game.
So this, just to give you an idea of tailgating, this game kicked off at 7:30. Had we been able to be in the stadium, I would have been there at 6:30 this morning.
Jeez.
My,
I'm way
God.
too old for that, dude.
Drinking.
I would have been like, you know what? I'll spend half the day, but 6 a.m. I'm dead.
Yeah, the only time we do that is a noon game.
Drinking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't, you can. Obviously, people do break out the stouts that early, but man, I'm picking a lager. Something
Breakfast
like,
stout.
yeah,
Perfect.
porters, that hatchet porter. I had a hatchet porter before, kind of pre-gaming, but that would have worked for sure. Lucky, appreciate you joining us, man. You're getting that setup going. You guys are going to crush it up there with the new setup and everything you guys got going on with Feeling Lucky. You guys are doing awesome things with that. I'm glad to see you've got that set up and sounding good up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think I've definitely been the one with the most problems when it comes to sound and like mics and stuff like that. So, well, yeah,
Have
maybe
you
Hoppy. Hoppy might be trying to
Our
take
episodes.
but I've definitely been up there. So thank you to the Hops News family. It's awesome having this set up, and we're putting it to good use already. We used it on our first episode that'll be coming out Tuesday, but we'll talk about that later.
Awesome. Let's, speaking of sound problems, let's go check in with Hoppy.
I knew that was coming.
Let's go check in with Hoppy and see how her audio is coming along tonight. Looks like you got a little bit better setup tonight there, Hoppy.
Yeah, I even got the headphones. I went for the whole feel. Yeah, this mic's working out great. Again, thanks, Hops News family. We haven't gotten any snow yet down here in Florida. It's still in the 80s. So, I'm drinking since it's still October. Oktoberfest season's technically over, but I went ahead and drink it in Oktoberfest while I still can. And in support of Jay, I got my Appalachian Mountain koozie on it.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah.
they're not playing UM, so what do I care?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again anytime soon. But yeah, sounding good, Hoppy. Looking good down there with the Appalachian State koozie. I'm impressed with that setup.
Yeah, well, it was inevitable. I had to do something. It was getting out of control.
Yeah, we're glad that the Hops News family could get you guys some equipment. Definitely greatly appreciated for their support. Well deserved for you guys. You guys are putting out a ton of great content. So thanks again for helping us make that happen. Without you guys, it'd be tough to do everything that we've done so far. But keeping those wheels turning, you guys are doing awesome stuff with the Geeks News. That's really taken off on our YouTube channel. A lot of views on that. Picking up on the podcast and producing some great content with some great equipment for sure.
Yeah, it's been fun. Just getting to talk about all the things that nobody else wants to hear me talk about.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Not even Skype.
She had her headphone.
Not even Skype wants to hear you talk about it. Let's go check in with
Damn.
Mash. Let's go check in with Mash. Mash, how are things going out there in Mountain Home, Idaho on this Thursday night? You guys getting snow yet?
Actually, it's been down cold, so we're supposed to get snow possibly tomorrow. The low's like 19 degrees. I'm fully alive because I love the cold. cold. I absolutely love the cold. I'm pretty bummed. We had our guest. He was going to join us on Skype, but once again, his Hoppy showed Skype was being awful. But I'm excited about tonight's guest, the Iowa Project. I've had 3 of their beers. My good friend here hooked me up with some of their beers, so I'm pretty stoked to have them on. I started a new job this week where I'm like the head marketer and taking care of like deployed families and stuff. So I'm one step closer to being a marketer for the Green Bay Packers, a lifelong dream. So
Nice.
doing big things, baby.
You're almost there, Mash. You're definitely almost there. Yeah, that's awesome. How you said something about the Packers. How are the Packers doing? I know you was fired up about them in the beginning of the season, but it seems like that may have died out.
No, they're 4-1 right now. They had a pretty bad outing on Sunday, but they're solid 4-1. And we got the Texans this week. So if we can't have hockey season should have started by now, but the Bruins just finished. So I'm fully immersed. Sundays, I already told Hoppy I can't record Sunday because I'm fully I just lay on the couch and watch football all day. I got the red zone up on one TV. I got the other TV going with the local games, and it's a problem, but it's only for a few weeks out of the year, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, man, that's who'd they lose to on Sunday?
God, the Buccaneers. I hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady probably more than any other. Like, I just hate. And I'm from Boston, so I shouldn't hate Tom Brady. These could have been the best 20 years of my life. But
Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's rough because they haven't played all that well this season, have they? Have the Buccaneers? They kind of not performed as well as everybody expected them to, I guess, right?
They've had a lot of injuries. So, I mean, Tom's 43 years old. He's not putting up amazing numbers, but of course, anytime the Bucs win, it's like, oh my God, Tom Brady did this. And it's like, well, no, he only threw 166 yards Sunday. His wide receivers are hurt. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are constantly hurt. So they haven't been great, but they've been decent. They're first in their division because Drew Brees can't sling a ball further than 5 yards up the field. And then Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers they're not bad. They're not bad. And then you just have whatever the shit show the Atlanta Falcons are.
Yeah. That's that the Atlanta Falcons have struggled, and I will tell you, I don't know if there's anybody more happy or to see that struggle than me, because there's nothing more annoying than a Braves fan, and typically most of those guys are Falcons fan as well. So
oh God, the Braves, they just had an Atlanta sports. You guys should just give up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, because the Braves just had an embarrassing outing, against the Dodgers and. Ugh.
Yeah, that was a world-class meltdown after being up. So whether were they up like 2 or 3 games or something in the beginning? It was like 3-1, 2-1 or something. I don't know. All I know is the only good thing to come out of Atlanta is, number 1, Bitch Beer Podcast. She's amazing. And then number 2, Pontoon Brewery, who poor Brad. He's like my runner for Pontoon because I think he has a lot more than he can handle. I'm like, hey man, can you do this for me? So quick shout out to Brad because he is literally like my best friend on this earth. Not just because he grabs beers, but we also have some pretty good
I'm gonna tell Tracy.
Yeah, shout out Tracy. Man, I am blessed. I'm just too blessed to be stressed.
Yeah.
What chat are you rocking, Mash?
We're chatting. This is Night Shift Brewing out of Everett, Massachusetts. Shout out to them. They have really, really good. They're across from like a peanut factory or something like that in the suburbs of Boston, and they have a really amazing brewery. Really good. I've been trying to get them on the show. COVID's kind of sidelined that, but I'm still hoping to get them on because they do really great. Really, really, really great beers, especially oatmeal stouts this time of year. They got this peanut butter one that's out right now. That oh my God, it's wicked good. You can only get it in the tap room. Because I've been trying to get my hands on that as well.
I love that logo with the hop owl.
Yeah, I think this can be one of my next tattoos. The nice little hop owl. Because I have my left arm I got stupid stuff for tattoos all over my left arm. It's like ridiculous. So I just slap whatever on there.
Slap whatever on there. It's just my body. It's only permanent.
Maybe. Hey, I love
time.
Tattoos. My tattoos, I like to say, encapsulate who I am. It's just a bunch of random cartoon stupid shit. So that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to get my first one this April, and then our vacation got canceled.
She was just going to get a butterfly. Let me get a butterfly.
A butterfly in my lower back. No, I was going to get a little sea turtle with the shell was going to be a hop on my wrist. Like cool. Me and 4 other girlfriends. Well, 2 of them sounded like they were going to chicken out, but I was excited. One day we'll get
Listen, guys, I was doing it. # girls vacay.
Oh
Nice.
God, we do not hashtag girls Vegas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Terrible.
Hey, let's check in on Nick. Nick,
Yes.
you still in the green room?
Other Nick.
Oh no. Did we lose him?
Uh-oh.
Oh God. Call him back. Did we lose him? Nick.
Well, Nick's not in the green room, so...
Oh, he messaged me saying his headphones accidentally hung up. I told him to call back. So ring that redial. In the meantime, we're going to sit here and we're just going to discuss what would you put in your 6-pack of beer?
Oh.
This is a question that Corey, one of our Patreon Hops News family guys, asked. And while we're trying to get a hold of Nick possibly again, what would go in your ultimate 6-pack? Because I can't decide yet. I've been trying to think about this since he came out with this question. I've honestly been sitting here trying to what the hell do I put in there? Because there's so many. I mean, do I go with Shipyard Pumpkinhead? Obviously, that's one. But what's next?
Well, yeah. Do you do the OGs or do you do your actual favorites that you can regularly? Do you do Pliny and Hetty is the question?
Well, Pliny doesn't fit in a 6-pack.
Well,
It does if you shove it in there.
I think you're just picking 6 beers, right?
It's not that big.
Yeah, I think you're just kind of picking...
First,
Oh man, I've heard that so many times. No.
I don't think it... I think it's just what is the 6 beers that you could take with you, right? I mean, if they said tomorrow's your last day, pick up 6 beers and you can take them with you. What are those six beer type things?
Well, number
right?
one definitely is the Pumpkinhead is definitely my number one. Oh man, can we do cans? It just have to be bottles.
I think
Can we do
anything,
cans as
man.
well?
Anything.
I think it'd be
It's
anything.
a 6-pack, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Six of your favorite beers.
Ooh, God, so many to choose from. Well, I would go with a Heady Topper is my number one, my number 2, I should say, because that's another
So you got
really
a
good
pumpkin
one.
and a Heady Topper. Lucky, what's your 1 and 2?
Oh, I don't know. I've been thinking about this since he posted it, and it's impossible. There's so many different ways you could think about it. I feel like it feels like a feeling lucky question that we would just debate for hours because I don't
Well,
know,
we've got about 40 minutes.
Last
So
6, or is it just the 6 that I can grab right now? Is it the only
It's the
6?
I think
6
that
that you
all-time.
It's all-time favorite.
If you could only drink 6 beers ever again, what 6 beers would they be?
Oh.
See, that's crazy. That changes it. That's so.
I don't know. That's kind of how I
would
thought
definitely a Titletown in there. The Johnny Blood Red from
Johnny
Titletown's
Blood.
going
See,
in.
that would be
That's
would probably
going in
be
there.
the 6. I feel like all of mine, I'd be biased, and I would only want to drink Wisconsin for the rest of my life. So I think Johnny Blood. I think Spotted Cow has to be in there. Those
Well, yeah.
probably would be my top 2, but that's so hard. I don't know. I have no idea.
Definitive stuffed by Definitive. That's another one of mine. So I got 4 right now. Jesus, I'm such.
all my favorites
such
are
a
so
floozy.
similar. I love all the hazies. It'd be tactical.
What's a
Bruins,
triple
New
IPA and
England.
how can I fit it in there?
yeah.
Ooh, I could do Calusa, Cry, Cry, Cry. That's
Hey, while you guys are thinking about it, Bottle Share is our non-profit for the night. Hit them up. We've already got some donations going. The donate button is working again on Facebook. Thank you.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you, Facebook.
Suck it, Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, are you trying to dial him back in? Did he get you yet?
I sent him a dial. I'm not sure if he's on or not. We're rambling along with the 6-pack, so I'm not sure if he's there or not. But Bottle Share is the nonprofit for tonight. Go ahead and hit those guys up. Great organization. Chris doing amazing things with those guys. I think they're doing collaboration after collaboration at this point.
Yes.
Sounds like they have a lot of them lined up. So that's pretty exciting to see Bottle Share doing that and working with some other breweries. We need to get Chris back on here for an update sometime soon and get an update of what those guys are doing for sure.
Yeah.
Shameless
And we
plug. Tilly
saw
and
he
Dustin,
was.
Bottle Share were on. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Shameless
they were on
plug.
Feeling
Tilly
Lucky.
and Dustin were on Feeling Lucky 2 episodes ago, and it was awesome. It was an awesome interview, and they talked a lot about what they were doing right now. But sorry, go Hoppy.
No, I was just going to say I saw he was at Lady Justice, which we had them on not too long ago. And then Danny Oliver from Beers Giving and Island Brewery, she was also talking about Lady Justice. It's like, now I want to get over to that brewery even more. It's over in Colorado.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat to see all our guests have relationships.
10 hours away from me, so we could all meet up in Denver, Colorado. Hey, you know what's a great time to do that? It's for GBAF next year when we all go and cover it. We all meet up in Denver and we hit up the breweries. I feel like that's no time like then.
With our media passes?
That sounds like a plan to me. Sounds like a plan to me.
Side note, I saw, speaking of Bottle Share, shout out to them, they raised $14,000 with Mobcraft for their Believe in Beer collaboration. Damn. And that's all going back to grants, things like that. So that's pretty impressive because they're only in like 8 to 10 states, something like that. And so just pure beer sales in their collaboration with Mobcraft, they've raised $14,000 to date so far. And that's from August till now. So 2 months in just pure beer sales. That's incredible.
Yeah,
damn. I don't know if we ever got it in Florida.
You should. I think it's in Florida, North Carolina, Georgia now. Obviously, Wisconsin. I think it's out in like Colorado, and then some of the middle states there, like Tennessee. I think maybe New Hampshire might be one of them because New Hampshire seems to get a lot of. They seem to be the most relaxed when it comes to beer laws. They get a lot of beer like shipped in, from what I've noticed, at least from seeing these virtual brew tours or beer fests. Is New Hampshire and Florida are like the 2 states that are usually on the list of you can ship to.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. I was trying to find a Believe in Beer because I drank all of mine or shipped all of mine out, and they were completely sold out at Mobcraft, and I just couldn't find any in Wisconsin. They like sold out. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago. I couldn't find anything, so it's awesome. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they must have been really killing it. Damn. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, we've had some non-alcoholic breweries on. Guinness has just unveiled their latest. They have a non-alcoholic beer that they're rolling out as well. So it seems like these bigger breweries are starting to get into the non-alcoholic game, which is up and coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's like anything, right? Once somebody starts to do it, everybody's going to join in at some point, even the big guys. But let's check and see if Nick's in there. Nick, you still waiting in the green room?
Yes, sir. How's it going, guys?
Hey,
got him. Yes.
Yay! That's awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us. It's been a rough one to get you on here, but we finally got you on.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a day of it as well, so this is all par for the course, but we're here. I'm stoked to be on.
Awesome. So, Nick, tell us a little bit about let's not get into the brewery yet, because we want to know what your first beer was that you ever had.
All right. Well, first beer, I don't know, probably like a Bud Light or some crap like that. I think it's the same story pretty much everybody's had. Honestly, I didn't really drink too much until I was probably like 20, 21-ish. Not for any particular reason, but, then I just went through the same course that everybody else did and had your crappy beers, your local domestic, that we all do know and love at this point. But that was kind of where I started. And then, I think I pivoted into craft beer on a whim, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, that's kind of everybody's start. Was it a Budweiser or a Bud Light from your dad, your grandfather? Do you remember the occasion?
Honestly, it was probably like a house party sometime after senior year, like nothing special. We didn't really have a lot of alcohol in the house growing up. We didn't, beer or anything. So, in fact, I think the first time I ever saw anybody in my family drink beer was probably a B-side of all things, which later grew on to be one of my favorite, kind of college time drinkers. So I think my grandfather drank a B-sides after a long work day that was sitting out on his work shed. And I was probably like, 17 or 18. So didn't have anything then, but that was probably the first time I saw anybody in our family have one. And that was one of my favorites later down the road. So a little bit coincidental, I would say.
Nice. Yep. Miller stands clear from me. Yeah, it's always one of those. It's always a toss up of what they're going to say. There's kind of the core beers that everybody starts with, but then they end up progressing to something like a Sam Adams or Sierra Nevada or something like that as they progress through the craft beer scene. So, what was your craft beer experience? How did you get started in kind of the craft beer experience?
kind of I think my story is kind of boring compared to a lot of guys. But basically, I had some friends that got into, brewing, home brewing, and that was more or less one of the bigger gateways for me. Being in Kansas City, we had originally, I moved up from Kansas City recently to start this Iowa project, but before that, KC Boulevard beers everywhere. The Boulevard Wheat, Pale Ale, things like that were all over the place, and we had those fairly often. And I would say that was kind of one of my entry, still a go-to beer that just kind of always hung around. And I do recall, at some point, we kind of got past that. Like, we can't just drink 30 beers a night all the time anymore. Let's mix it up, get something different in here. Let's be adults and have craft beer. So then we started drinking, whether it was even banquet beer as we move into banquets, but then that Boulevard Wheat and things like that. We started drinking on that and enjoyed those. And I think somewhere in there we stumbled in, even actually my business partner here introduced me to Chimay, Belgian, red, blue, and white. Those were all great. And then I think it was probably IPA-wise, it's one of my favorite styles. Again, just kind of a house party with some coworkers, and a buddy left or maybe even gifted us like a mixed pack of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and a bunch of other stuff in there. So Torpedo was in that, and all, just a collection of kind of the staples. And that was really kind of what flipped the switch for me. And that was like when I didn't go back. I just kept drinking on those IPAs and really enjoyed that style of beer. And I think it was once my friends got into homebrewing that I slowly hung around long enough to figure it out a little bit, that I kind of just kept going with that IPA style, and that was what kept me in and got me in with craft beer, and then further into homebrewing and figuring out that more or less that obsession and that bug that just doesn't go away.
Yeah, it doesn't go away.
yeah.
Very true, yeah.
You drink a couple of those good beers, and you're on your way before no time. Just ask Hoppy with her Sunday morning stouts.
Well, you ruin your taste buds. I remember going back to Bud Light after getting into craft beer, and I thought there was something wrong with the tap because it tasted like seltzer water. I really did. I asked my husband, I'm like,
water.
Right, and then I got a Budweiser or a Bud Light in a bottle, and I'm like, well, this tastes off too. And my husband's like, yeah, you've been drinking too many IPAs.
Yeah, I slowly fell into the kind of the craft beer nerd world and chasing beers and shifting beers and sharing with friends, and it was awesome. And it was kind of like once you go to a bottle share and you have those experiences, you just get spoiled. It's like, hey, I just had a 15% stout that tasted like pure chocolate goodness, and coconut, and roasted, and it was just amazing. And it was just like, I can't do this anymore. This is my tailgate beer now. I drink 18% beers for breakfast, And it
exactly, yeah.
Boy, where have I heard that one before? God, I feel like I know it's like, is that Hoppy on the phone or is it?
I like this guy.
That's Hoppy. Her go-to is the heavy beers. We've done on a Sunday morning the international episode. She's busted open a 14-15%er. It's 10 a.m. and I'm over here nursing a 4% beer. I got to ease into it, man. And she's out here hell no, let's go.
Well, when I drink, I want to drink good beer. But see, I just finished an Oktoberfest and opened another one. And these Oktoberfests, they just go down so fast. They're lower ABV. This one's only 5.8, but they go down so fast. So I actually just opened a Mob Craft Brett Shake IPA from Lucky in Wisconsin. This is really yummy. Every beer you've sent from them has been amazing.
Yeah,
they do it
Mob Craft's on point.
Really well.
Of course, I got so excited listening to Nick talk, I accidentally poured some on myself when I was pouring it.
Yeah, I had their one of the porters, I believe it was, that you sent, Lucky, one of the porters from Bottle Craft. That was kind of my warm-up beer. It was pretty damn tasty.
Nice. Glad you like them. Yeah, everything that I've had from them is absolutely delicious. So I'm glad you guys glad to share the wealth.
So we've got Nick Applegate from the Iowa Project Brewing on with us tonight. Nick, how did you get started with your own brewery? How did you go from your Bud Light to your craft beer to, man, I think I could do this?
Yeah, so it started, like I said, it's kind of that obsession with the craft beer, and then what turned into, my buddies that homebrewed. I kind of stay I've homebrewed for 5 or 6 years. I mean, at this point, probably like 7 or 8. But early on, I just kind of sat around and drank their really bad beer for a long time. And then there was, in the Midwest, getting a good New England IPA was damn near impossible. And we had one brewery in Kansas City that I felt like did a really good job. And they kind of caught a lot of flack for it and then slowly pivoted away. But that would just like hook me in and drew me into this, why can't just anybody make this beer? And the more I learned about it, and I just wanted to make one, with my friends on the side, it kind of put me into this, spot of, well, why is it so difficult to make? Why can't people make a good New England? What does it take? And it basically kind of slowly transitioned into breaking all the rules of traditional brewing. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. So I slowly started trying to figure that out and break all those rules, and that consequently pushed me into learning that technical style of brewing. So, I guess even well before that, I a long time ago, I kind of had this idea that it would be really cool to own a bar. We did a project on it in college. And so I kind of had this, preconceived idea. And as I got more into craft beer, I figured out how to make New England, or I thought I did. And I kept making these other beers, and I started learning about lagers, how to make that, how to make a good stout. Everything was, it wasn't just about like making a beer that was drinkable that I would get, drunk off. Well, it was a process and a, critical step of, I'm going to take notes on this. What was my process at every step of the way? So with homebrewing, it just never seemed sufficient. Coupled that with my bar idea and wanting to kind of do my own thing at some point, I knew that was where I wanted to go. So it got to the point where, my wife and I would go out for drinks, we're on vacation, go to a bar, and I would just joke, or we go to brewery specifically, and I'd be like, this is just market research. Like, you think I'm just drinking the spirit because it's good. I'm learning it. Like, I'm taking everything in. And that was just went on and ran its course until it really wasn't a joke anymore. And then I had some friends that had a brewery in Kansas City. One of my college classmates actually was one of the partners. And I worked out there with him for a year. Diametric Brewing Company out in Lee Summit, Missouri, just south of KC. Shout out to those guys for giving me my first chance and start out there. But their pilot system was the same thing that I homebrewed on. So it became this natural step for me to make commercial beer and to kind of learn what it was about. I helped run the tap room and do just anything that they needed to. And it kind of gave me a behind the scenes of what it takes to run a brewery. Little did I know, I actually had no idea what it takes to run a brewery. So we're learning a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
That was just it. It was that, that continuous cycle of wanting to try something new, trying to find a new process, and then ultimately realizing, I just got tired of going to other breweries and being like, this is no bueno. Like, it got to a point where I was seeking out really good beer all the time, and it wasn't just good beer that was good enough. It was the best beer that was good enough for me. So, when I would make those, and not every beer was perfect, but I got to a point where I was consistently happy and really felt like this was something I could do. It might be a journey that takes a little bit of time. It might be a project where I do one batch, I learn from it, I do it with one beer, I learn from that, and eventually we'll get there. And got confident enough in it and had my experience at Diametric and was ready to kind of take that next step. And we're in Spencer, Iowa, which is a small, 11, 12,000 person community in northwest Iowa. And I had some friends that had ties out here, and it ultimately just became this perfect fit where I could come and start something on my own, offer something to the community, be a part of the community, and really turn out new and interesting beers that would always continuously be that next step for me and never really be satiated. I keep doing something new.
For sure. I got to say, it's funny to talk about like new interesting beers that are great like that. I guess I was kind of ignorant in the fact that one of my friends, the reason why I had your beer was he's from that area in Iowa, and he's like, do you want any beer from here? And I was like, yeah.
Offer something to the community, be a part of the community, and really turn out new and interesting beers that would always continuously be that next step for me and never really be satiated. I keep doing something new.
Yeah, and so he brought me back 3 different of your beers. Talk about like new interesting beer. I don't know why I'm hearing myself in the background there for a second. That was weird. But yeah, he's like, you want any beer? And originally he was going to go to Westo. And then he's like, actually, we're going to go to the Iowa Project. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, man. Just bring me back whatever. I had no idea what to expect, and you blew me away. I was like, holy crap, they know how to brew in Iowa. I was not expecting it whatsoever. So whatever you're doing right now, like, props to you guys, and all that research you've had and everything has really paid off, and it comes out in the beer, because I tried 3 different ones. I know one of them was a sour, and I had an IPA, and I can't remember now what the third one was, but they were all just fantastic beers.
Yeah, Iowa's definitely underrated, but you guys have Toppling Goliath. Do you guys get that? We're getting it in Florida now, so I'm sure it's all over the state now.
Oh, for sure. TG really, I mean, they took the Midwest platform, and they're kind of that gold standard for IPAs in a lot of ways. And I mean, that used to be a beer I would hold my homebrew up against and be like, does it taste good enough? And then when I would like hit that consistently and I felt like it was good enough, that was kind of one of those, just kind of pat myself on the back like, hey, you don't suck at brewing. Good job, buddy.
But yeah, that's the only brewery you ever really hear out of Iowa anywhere else. So, but I mean, I feel like with Florida, with any time I travel, I feel like I'm single-handedly trying to be like, no, Florida has really good beer. And, we're all just kind of learning, talking to Lucky from Wisconsin, and everybody knows North Carolina has good beer, but talking to Mash from Idaho, it's like all these little places have these little like gold nuggets of amazing beer. You have to know about it. You got to get your hands on it. So you guys just opened, though. So what's it been like opening in 2020?
Bizarre to say the least. I mean, Iowa's been really nice in that we don't have a lot of restrictions and guidelines that are really prohibitive. I mean, we're not quite as bad as you guys down in Florida, but we try to enjoy
Nobody
ourselves.
is.
So that's been, we actually opened not early May, was Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christmas, one of those holidays in mid-May, and we started doing cans only then, because everything was shut down still at that point. And then that's when we wanted to be open in the first place. It did give us that opportunity to do that. So that was really unique, and it actually turned into more of a blessing in disguise, because to be honest, we weren't ready to open, both on a production side and the taproom. We had some things that fell through as far as getting construction done. So I think that weekend we actually got our bar and tables installed, but still didn't have electrical and things like that finished up. So we were far from it, but that gave us an opportunity to get some products in hand and kind of build that equity within the brand, or for the brand within the community, which is what we're trying to do. And so we started in May. That was a COVID thing. It was super different. Everybody was in cans at that point. Every brewery that didn't do taproom beers, or only did taproom beers, and now they're canning, or now they're growlers and crowlers, whatever it would be. That was kind of difficult. Luckily, one pallet of cans for us is, it's dropped in half for everybody else. So that last us, we're still using that same pallet of cans actually, but that worked out. But we did pivot a little bit. We went with more growlers. I think, Max, that's what you got with some growlers.
Yes,
and that just
I had the super fruit was one of them.
Yeah, that was a fun beer we did. That was something more unique. Slushy styles don't really work with what we're doing with our setup and our equipment. We might be able to pull something off for taproom only. But that was kind of our first attempt at a slushy style, more or less. That 450 North style that's just, dumb amounts of fruit that don't even make sense. So it was pretty happy. We got a lot of friends that were excited for that.
I thought it was wicked good. You're right. Yeah, I got 2 growlers and a crowler. I was looking through my pictures just now, trying to remember what it was, and I saw the super fruit was definitely one of them. That was oh man, it was wicked good.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the things that we pulled out of this COVID situation, was going back to growlers. Everybody's doing growlers and cans. 32-ounce growlers basically became impossible to get. And I'd seen that coming.
Right, yeah, I got 2. That's weird. What's going on, Jay?
I think he's just cursing under his breath. I don't know what's going on with the game.
No, the echo.
But yeah.
Play the echo again. I wasn't cutting them off.
Yeah, growlers have been fun, but that's kind of our biggest thing. And then our tap room's open in a limited capacity in some regard. Masks are more not required, but we do ask people to wear them since it's not required within the state currently. So that's a different dynamic for us, but it's definitely a challenge. I mean, it creates new things. I can't imagine that we're at full capacity of, our customers. I don't think everybody's out buying beer still. I still get new people come in. They're like, I would have been here a month ago, but whatever. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been an obstacle. I don't think it's the same way it affects everybody's life,
Yeah.
It is. It's one of those things. It's like, do we go out? Do we not go out? It's just such a weird time overall. And like you said, like growlers, everything like that. So I figure, especially opening up in 2020, growlers, it's the more economical way for breweries to kind of do their thing. So even if you aren't sitting in the tap room, you can just as easy get a couple of the small growlers and go on your way out. So I mean, that's one way you can do beer, and then curbside pickup. But it's just such a weird time, and I'm glad to see that you guys are still getting new people in and out.
Nice.
Yeah,
Jay's drinking an Ivanhoe now.
Yeah, this is a tasty beer. So Nick, I've got a question for you. You talked in the beginning about brewing some beer and working with some people, and you were like, man, I can kind of do this. What has been the thing that surprises you the most about running your own brewery? What is kind of like, if you had some advice to give somebody that was looking to open a brewery, what would it be?
That's a really good question. Man, I don't know. I've honestly probably kind of heed the warning from a lot of others and invest in the big things. There's some infrastructural items within a brewery that are super important, but otherwise just make a really good plan, stick to it, and rely on your team to support you. That's honestly been the hardest thing for me is, I brew beer, I do all our brewing, I understand that. I kind of work a lot of our social media, that's cool, I do all those things. But working within a team and having that managerial aspect and knowing the business side of it is the hardest part for me. And I think, having that team in place and being able to work with people, whether you're going to run the brand and oversee, or be the director and have a brewer that runs things, I think those are important to have support. That would be my biggest recommendation for anybody. And that's probably the biggest kicker, I think, is making sure you got it set up and a plan in place for your other plans to make sure that everything goes along the way. But it's still always going to be a learning curve there. You can't ever, everybody says if you're playing a brewery, double your time frame, just play it safe or add, 50% on there, whatever your costs are and things like that, because you can't, balance this out. You're always going to have something unexpected come up, whether that's building or team or production or something crazy is going to happen. Or COVID, maybe, I don't know. Maybe we get shut down for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's for sure. And obviously, most people that start a brewery end up, they're good at brewing beer. They make some tasty beer, and they end up taking a stab at the production level of it. So the business end of it ends up being missing a little bit, but that's definitely interesting, and that seems to be the way it is for most people.
Yeah, I guess to follow up on that too, is kind of be ready to make that full commitment too. I think a lot of people get into whatever industry that seems to be their dream pipeline or their dream industry, and they think it's going to be all rainbows and butterflies, but it's still an absolutely crazy amount of work. In my previous life, I worked in sports for a little bit, and everybody I know that works in the sports industry is like, I don't even go to NFL games anymore. Like, I can't even enjoy the NFL because I'm in it. Like, this is my day to day. But that's always something, and it's always going to take that additional work. So really know that if this is what you're going to do, if this is what you want to open a brewery, don't necessarily get into it expecting to make millions and be the next whoever that's going to take over the world. Because realistically, it's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. You're going to put in a lot into the business on all aspects, and it's just going to take. It's going to keep on taking. I always joke that that's what homebrewing was. It was the hobby that just kept on taking, and that's just what beer becomes regardless. And you keep putting more into it, and you keep trying to do new things, and you keep trying to find new opportunities. And if you don't really love that, you don't keep loving that hustle and that grind, then you're going to burn out. And that light at the end of the tunnel might not be there. So that's the other kind of 50% of that side. I think that there's always a payoff. There's a lot of fun in there. But I think you got to be ready for that.
Yeah. I tell anybody that asks me about opening a brewery, if you want to make $1 million, the first thing you can do is get $2 million and go flush it down the drain. Because that's step one in making $1 million and starting a brewery for sure. It is. There's 100,000 other options out there that can make you a lot more money with a lot less investment. But, and you know, to most people's defense, brewing is not, you know, most people that get into brewing understand that they're not going to make millions of dollars at it. It's kind of a passion project. People can make enough money to support their family, keep a roof over their head and food on the table, but it's not a tech company. You're not going to get rich overnight for sure.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for someone who's never worked in the industry to glamorize it, because you see the brewer that owns a brewery, you know, walking around the brewery talking to everybody and giving hugs and high fives, pre-COVID, obviously. And, you know, it seems like, you know, but you don't realize he's there at 5 a.m. scrubbing kegs with the head brewer who's also scrubbing kegs and still managing the money and all of that. Like, I mean, we have breweries around here that I've heard the owners make comments about that they still have their day job. Like, they did not quit the day job. Yeah. So, I mean, every situation's different, but yeah. I mean, I appreciate all the work you guys do because I reap the benefits. It's delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things everybody thinks you can just open up a brewery and you get to drink like delicious beers and it's all fun and games. And it's really, there's so much work that goes on between it, like behind the scenes. And it's truly insane. I don't know if I would ever be able to do it. So hats off to everybody like you who actually do.
Right.
Yeah. And Nick
it's all fun and games until you end up on Worst Beer Blog with like an exploding keg or something.
Yeah. And Nick can probably confirm, but for every hour of sexy brewing, there's about 4 hours of cleaning.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. So Nick, one way we like to end the episodes with our guest is if the four of us were to walk into your tap room right this minute, what is it that you're going to pour for us?
It depends on the time of day. I'm going to guess if it's an early morning, Hoppy, we're going with something nice, big, rich stout for sure.
Yes.
Everybody else, Session A, IPA or something like that.
Everybody else gets whatever, but Hoppy gets.
You get some non-alcoholic seltzer. We're gonna go drink a big stout.
Yeah.
You get our version of White Claw.
So what is the styles that you guys are kind of known for there at the Iowa Project Brewing?
Definitely. No, I was gonna actually kind of go towards so locally kind of. I guess I would probably maybe lean more towards like fruit beer and IPAs. We've got one of our most popular beers locally is what we call Cabo San Lager. It's a Mexican lagerless wine, basically an amber Mexican style. And the lime we added, so it's got a really nice balance, fairly low, fairly sessionable. And people really enjoy that one. And then, our, like Superfruit, all of our fruited sours go over very well. Right now we're just doing a lot of kettle souring. And I try to do that in a unique, souring technique to do something outside of just that basic clean lactic Berliner Weiss base. And so I do those and with a, more creative perspective of kind of like a dessert or something like that. So our Southern Hospitality series has been really, really popular. And then I think kind of having some good New England IPAs and things like that mixed in are kind of where our bread and butter is right now. But we'll see where that goes. I've got some fun stout ideas and some mixed fermentation barrel aged sour program that's going to get rolling really soon. That's where I was going to be at for this live. If I could get the camera to work, that's where I was going to be at. But that's what we're trying to go long term and kind of create a brand around that for people to come out and get you guys out here and check it out.
Hell
nice.
Yeah.
You had me sold at Mexican lager, by the way. I was checked out. As soon as you said Mexican lager, I was like, that shit, yes. Please. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good, man. Well, we definitely appreciate your time tonight, Nick. Sorry about the technical issues. I will tell you, it's not an episode of Hops News without a bunch of technical snafus to start our episode. So we definitely appreciate your time that you've given us tonight. And I will tell you, I'm gonna press Mash there to get us some of your beer out to us because it's when you talk about it and describe it in those ways, that definitely makes me want to get my hands on some of it. So we appreciate your time. How can people find you or the brewery on the social networks?
Yeah, we're going to be at the Iowa Project on pretty much everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Nothing on TikTok yet. Sorry about that, guys. But everything else.
Damn, I was really wanting some TikTok brewing videos.
I'm too old for TikTok.
Wait a minute. Do you have an OnlyFans account? Do you have an OnlyFans account?
Not yet. We're working on it, though.
I hear you can make millions with feet one. We haven't.
Yeah, that's how I figured I'd get rich.
That's how he raised the money to start the brewery.
Yeah. Or you can just be Fort Bragg's, North Carolina's Twitter account, and you can promote it for him. So, no, that's great, Nick. We definitely appreciate your time. And if you haven't checked, if you're on Twitter, Nick, check out Fort Bragg NC on Twitter and see what happened to those guys yesterday. So that'll burn about 20 minutes of your time checking out comments on that one. But it's a good one. Nick, appreciate your time tonight, man. We'll definitely get some of your beer out to us and do some sampling on one episode of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. I look forward to it, guys.
All right, man. Appreciate you and have a good night.
You.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, I think my man's might be going back to Iowa either for Christmas or Thanksgiving. So
yes,
I'm gonna have to hit him up and be like, "Hey, come on, bring the goods."
Yes.
Do it.
Funny, we had a recent Geek episode where Iowa came up, and I remember you saying something like, "Oh, there can't be any good beer." I'm like, "Well, Toppling Goliath's the only thing I can think of," and so that's kind of funny that we just happened to get an Iowa brewery on here. So that's kind of cool. I love finding the little spots you don't even think beer of.
I shared them on our Geeks page a while back when I was drinking the Superfruit because I think I drank it on an episode of our Geeks. I'll have to find the episode I did it on, but I believe I did drink their beer, the Superfruit, on an episode of Geeks at some point because I had to scroll back and look through. But yeah, you're right. Iowa, of all places, you're like, oh, there can't be any great beer here. And then lo and behold, there's a whole plethora of it, just like Nebraska. I was like, there's no good beer in Nebraska. Bam, found good beer in Nebraska. So it's really all about finding it. And it's kind of like the best part about the craft beer industry is finding those really good breweries, just hidden gems and finding the gems within the places that you never expect to be.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't always know. I have learned, and this doesn't count for everywhere, but if you have a brewery that's named after the city or the state, it's not always the best. Not like Iowa
what?
Project is fine.
Example.
Like literally, I don't want to give examples. Literally just the name of the city brewing. Not always.
So Orlando City Brewing, trash.
Orlando City. We don't have a brewery called Orlando City.
I know. I was just naming random.
MKE Brewing is fantastic. Don't listen to her.
But see, that's MKE. It's not Milwaukee Brewing.
Raleigh Brewing Company is
so moonshine isn't too
okay,
bad.
good. I'm glad you guys are proving me wrong because my personal experience.
You know what? Why don't you just sit down and just like rethink what you do?
No,
I'm not saying,
How
I'm
dare
not saying
you?
Names. I'm not saying names.
This is going to be our
I
first
feel like
fight.
we need names because we just
No, I
disproved
definitely
your
want to
theory.
know. I
need
really
some names.
Are we talking about New Belgium again?
hours.
Are we talking about
What?
New Belgium again?
No.
No, that's not the. We're talking Stone's the name of some place, so we're talking about Stone and how fucking nobody likes Stone.
Ooh, Stone's getting ragged on a lot, and rightfully
Yes,
so.
they are. Rightfully
I
so. Drag
actually
them to the mud.
Still?
Learned so apparently a few years ago they had said that they were gonna like give scholarships or whatever to like small breweries that needed help, and I guess some breweries
So they're
reached
suing
out.
them.
And they never helped as far as, I mean, this is not confirmed. I heard this word of mouth, but I thought that was interesting that they're like, oh, we want to
Now
help
we're gonna
these
sue
little
you
guys.
instead.
Right.
Stone.
We're just going to use you to step over and, Keystone.
Go ahead, send us. You need grants? Oh, cool, thanks. Now you just give us a list of people who to go after.
Yeah.
But like they're still selling those cans. I was at the grocery store today and I was like, oh shit, there's
Mash.
Keystone with the big
Should
can.
actually knock them off the shelf and break them so that way nobody
At this
wins.
point, I'm rooting for them. For Keystone.
Mash,
Oh,
see if
sorry, I
you,
thought you meant Stone. My bad.
No, Keystone's still selling those cans.
let's
What
see
do I
if
got
we
to do,
can
Jay? What's my mission?
let's see if we can get Stone on for a comment about this scholarship.
Yeah, right.
Let's bring him in. It's a trap. It's an intervention. intervention.
Yeah.
Greg Koch, who I'm sure is listening, please
He'll come on.
on. And
Yeah, I'm
explain
sure he
stuff.
listens to our. He probably has like one of those things where he just plays it on repeat, and anytime the word stone or anything related is brought up, it like flags it. So he's probably heard of us, and we're probably getting our cease and desist letters at some
I'm
point.
gonna say,
But that's
Jimmy's
okay.
Expecting a lawsuit within like 3 days.
We got
Right.
multiple lawyers on our team. They may not be the lawyers we need, but you know what? I've watched Daredevil. Any lawyer can get you through anything that you need.
I'll stay the fucking
I'm
night
an
at
avocado
Holiday
at
Inn
law.
Express.
I watched How I Met Your Mother. I got this.
We'll all sleep at a Holiday Inn Express and defend ourselves.
There you
Listen,
go.
I'm gonna
That's all
go in there like Sonny Koufax and Big Daddy, and I'm gonna win this
God,
case.
Big Daddy, and all your random friends are gonna show up.
They're all gonna show up and be like, "He's awesome. He bought me a
Right.
meal."
Hey, Nick,
Well,
and
he's
if you
gonna
ever
be a
go back
terrible
and
dad.
if Nick ever goes back and watches this or listens again, the animation on my end is because this has been a typical Sunbelt game, and the turnovers are fucking atrocious at this point. So I apologize for that. Let's
Spirit of Thanksgiving, turnovers. Everybody gets a turnover. it's
Everybody
like playing,
gets a
it's like
turnover.
watching the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it has been horrible tonight, but App's winning. Let's go check in with Mash. Mash, parting shots. What do we got to look forward to with Hops Geeks news?
Oh, golly. Yeah,
What's
so
going
first
on?
of all, I'm drinking this delicious collab beer from Elder Pine and one of my favorite bands of all time, August Burns Red. It's a delicious farmhouse ale. So shout out, if August Burns Red ever watches this, I want you guys on to talk about this collab, even though you're a metal band. But next week we have Crystal Coast Brewing, which is coming at you from North Carolina. Go on and raise up. And then the week after that, we have the Orlando Ale line coming on, which is going to be a little detraction from our
Yay.
normal breweries, and talk about somebody who takes you to a brewery should you ever visit Orlando when this is over. Other than that, Geeks, it's we just recently dropped an episode that is on all your streaming platforms on YouTube, where we talked about The Nightmare Before Christmas, one of Hoppy
And we were
mine's,
pretty drunk.
we
when
were pretty
did that.
lit. So this was like this was actually filmed and recorded on my birthday last week. And so we were pretty feeling good at that point. And other than that, we talked about the ending of The Boys, stuff like that. This coming next episode is going to be what the hell is it going to be?
Horror
Next
movies.
episode is going to be our favorite horror movies, which I am such a horror movie slut, and that's all I will watch. So I can't wait for that episode. It's going to be great. We have Mandalorian starting next Friday, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And one of our viewers, Micah, I'm hoping to get him on for an episode because he does a lot of good home brewing, and we've had some good talks about the X-Men and things like that. So shout out to Micah, and you can catch us, Hops Geek News on the IG. You'll see my OnlyFans where it's just me reading comic books and crying after a long day of work, and
It's really
Yeah.
his feet and Legos.
it's my feet, Legos, and me crying over a beer. It's at
That's
Hops Feet
awesome.
News,
That's so
Twitter.
You just
I went on
named
to
our
Twitter.
fans only account. There
We
you
have
go.
an
Hops
OnlyFans
Feet
account, Hop
News.
Feet News. It's gonna pay
Yeah.
for our
That's
trip.
so fucking
Yeah.
Mash. Oh my god.
Man, we could
Just
probably make a
catch us on
killing
the
off of
Apple,
that.
the Spotify, the Google Podcast, the Amazon Podcast. Ask Alexa about us. She'll point you to Hops Gay News, but trust me, it's Hops Geek News.
I feel like
So
we
it's hot
actually need to
news.
start this, man, because between the four of us, I bet you we could make some money off of feet.
Oh my god. Hops feet. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah. There's guys out there that'll pay for that shit.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I have tattoos on my feet, so you'll know exactly when my feet get posted. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
man.
pays the bills and keeps the lights on, right?
Yeah,
Pays for
whatever.
my Legos addiction.
Whatever keeps the libs in pain. That'd be.
Got kids to feed.
Yes, sir. Hoppy, speaking of fans only fans, how are things going in Orlando?
Well, now I'm crying. Things are good. Yeah, nobody down here knows what snow is. My daughter didn't know what a blizzard was. You guys are talking about snow. There was snow on the TV the other day in some show, and my daughter goes, "What's that?" Like, I think we need to take her to see
Please
snow.
come back to Massachusetts with me next time I go.
I don't think she's seen snow since she was 1. I think they probably think snow is the bubbles that Disney puts out
that's
when
child
it snows.
Child abuse.
Well, Logan's only 3, so he's never seen snow. But
Never seen snow. All right, so y'all come out and snowboard this year in Idaho. Got you.
Do you have good snowboarding? You probably do have good snowboarding.
This is probably some of the best snowboarding in the country out here, actually.
Because Jay's got snowboarding, but it's not the best on the East Coast. It's much better on the West Coast. But parting shots. So yeah, Hops Geek News. I kind of went on a drunken rant about Nightmare last week, so I'm going to let Mash go on a drunken rant about horror movies this week. So, and it all evens out. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. I think it's coming together. Every episode we have some issue and we fix it the next issue. So we're getting better. We're going to have a new segment called something like My Bad or whatever, where we fix all our fuck ups from the week before. So I decided that today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We did. We decided the My Bad episode, it's just going to be, or the segment's just going to be us fixing our fuck ups.
We need a clever name for that segment, though. So if anybody has any suggestions, let us know.
Maybe we can get a sponsor by duct tape. It's like duct tape fix everything.
Fix everything. There you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are
segment name duct tape.
Yeah. You guys are crushing it, though. I would tell you, I'm definitely impressed with how far you guys have come. Obviously, when you start out doing something like we've all started out here, doing something new with the streaming and everything else that's going on, you kind of learn as you go, right? But I think you guys are definitely getting it dialed in and putting out some great content. Like I said, I wish I could be a part of that, but I just don't have the memory capability to even engage in any intelligent conversation. So good stuff to you guys. Look forward to what you guys are producing all the time. And I know it will always improve.
Thanks to Google.
Yeah, thanks to Google. Speaking of improving, man, those guys up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin are crushing it with the Feeling Lucky. Lucky, how can people find you and what do they've got to look forward to?
Yeah, so you can find me at Feelin' Lucky Pod. That's Feelin' without a G, Lucky Pod on Instagram, and you can look at Twitter, but I don't think we've posted to it. So follow us on Instagram. What you have to look forward to. So please go back and watch or listen to the Lakefront episode that we did that came out on Tuesday. It's a super awesome episode. We had Russ, the president and one of the co-founders of Lakefront Brewing. They've been around for forever. One of the OGs in craft beer. It's an awesome interview and it's an awesome episode. So listen to that. We have coming out next Tuesday, the Rambling Alcoholics podcast, which if you just want funny, I'm going to preface this in the description and all that. If you want funny and inappropriate, this is very much that episode. It is absolutely hilarious. I think it's the best one as far as comedy wise that we've shot. It's so funny. We had Jay Whiskey on from Rambling Alcoholics. He's the one that kind of started all of it. And then the week after, so on Monday, we will be shooting at Mobcraft. We've been talking about Mobcraft all night. So we will be going back to Mobcraft. We're going to follow up with what they have done with Bottle Share, talk about how Believe in Beer went. And then they have a collaboration. They're doing a Black is Beautiful. So that's going to come out. We will be there for the release of the beer, but they're going to talk a little bit about it and what it all is going to and stuff like that. And then we'll be there once they're done brewing it. So, but we will be shooting that interview on Monday. That'll be 2 weeks from now, I guess. So super excited, super excited for what's coming out for Feeling Lucky. And yeah, everybody's been super supportive. So thank you. And again, I can't thank the Hops News family enough. Anybody that's in there right now, the stuff that we used, the equipment that Jay sent up on this last episode, and I think it's so good. It's so unbelievably better than what we've been doing, and it'll really show. So thank you guys so much. Yeah,
that's good equipment goes a long ways. I know I've talked about it a few times and definitely talk about it with these guys almost on a weekly basis. So being able to get this equipment in these guys' hands is tremendous. We appreciate everything that you guys have done. My parting shot is just go follow us, like us, subscribe to Hops News. You can find us on any of them. We're definitely on all of them. YouTube would be a great one if you can go subscribe to us there. Little stat from the game. Let's get an update from the game. 31-7 App State. The last stat I seen was 188 yards rushing by App to Arkansas State's -11.
Hold on. Damn. Hey,
yeah, this is going to be a good one.
We should have our website dropping soon too, right?
Yeah, the website is definitely dropping. As with everything, Bill is a great guy. We don't pressure Bill too much because he's doing some amazing things for us at a great price. But look for it coming as soon as we can get it out for sure. Hops News will have some great content on it. We'll work and try to get some merchandise on there as well, but some good stuff. It'll look impressive. Bill has done some good work for us so far. I've seen some of the stuff that he's doing, but definitely coming soon. New equipment, new website. Couldn't happen without the Hops News family. If you're interested, somebody will post the link in the chat, and you can join us there and get involved. We'll also have some former guests, I think, that are joining us soon in the family. So be a good spot to connect, good place to trade some great beer, all around great time. Appreciate you joining us tonight. It's been fun as always, and have a great night.
Cheers.
Great fight, great night.
Cheers. Love you guys.
So my 8-year-old now makes fun of the ending of all of our stuff. Thanks for watching Hops News. Cheers. So now every time we end something, I just want to do that. Cheers. She thinks she's hilarious.
Oh my God! Cheers.
Well, she's
hey
the one
guys,
that did the
check your messages. I went ahead and started signing us up. We actually have an OnlyFans account. It's called Hops Feet News.
Oh, man.